Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Cutting Edge Figure Skating Podcast. My name is Kim Dunaway. In this episode, I'll be recapping both the women's and men's events from Cup of China 2025. I'll start with the ladies. This event was won by Amber Glenn, and Amber continues to be extremely impressive in all events not named Worlds. She has not lost an event that she's entered in the last two seasons, with the exception of Worlds last year. She had to come from behind here. She didn't make a mistake in her short program on her combo, which is usually not the jumping pass that gets her. Oftentimes, it's that triple loop that tends to be a little bit more inconsistent than the other two jumping passes. But here, it was a hand down that she put on the triple toe part of the combination. Triple axel was easy. The triple loop was easy. It's a fun program. I think if I were to pick my favorite short program from her from this entire Olympic quad, it would probably be Heads Will Roll. I really, really enjoyed that program. I think it was number one on my season's best list that year. But I do like this Madonna short program from her and actually like it better than the Janet Jackson program that she was using last season. Her free skate, of course, she's repeating. I think that this is a perfect example of a program that can be repeated. The music is not like Rain in Your Black Eyes or some type of warhorse that we've heard lots and lots of times. Lopareva and Bruzo are using this same piece of music for part of their free dance, but it's not a super widely used piece of music. And I think that works for her in terms of repeating it. It does feel like there was some more mileage on this program. She does have several different dresses at this point to choose from. The dress that she used last year was beautiful. The dress that she had at Nebelhorn was beautiful. And this one was gorgeous as well. She says that she takes both of her dresses to competition and decides at the competition which one that she wants to wear. She actually lent her other dress to Emilia Zingas to wear in the gala. They had some issues with their luggage and don't know if they had packed a gala outfit on top of that anyway. Amber, always the just super supportive figure skating friend that everybody should have, but really fantastic event for her coming from behind to win. And she continues to pad that resume for making the U.S. Women's Olympic team. I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. Let's talk about Alyssa, who finished second here. She won the short program. She has gone back to both of her programs from last season temporarily, is my understanding. Her short program that she picked this year, there were some issues with the artist in terms of some decisions, poor decisions that this artist has made in his life. And so Alyssa did not want to continue on using that piece of music. So temporarily, she's gone back to her short program from last season, which was incredibly successful. She made the decision to also use her free skate from last year as well, as they're reworking her Lady Gaga free skate. So hopefully by Skate America, we'll see that Lady Gaga free skate again. Have no idea if a new short program will be ready by then or not. We'll definitely find out. In her short program, she has added a triple Lutz triple loop this season, which of course has more base value and is more difficult than the combination that she was doing last year, which was either the triple Lutz triple toe or the triple flip triple toe. And she's doing that combination in the second half to get more points. So this is something that we saw the Russian ladies do in the last Olympic quad a lot to get extra points. So it worked out here for her. She was first in program components in the short program and second in technical elements to Rinka, who came in with a triple axel. In the free skate, she did a triple Lutz triple toe. So she opted not to do the loop combination in the free skate. And her second Lutz was going to be in combination with a double axel. She didn't get it off, but she did put that double axel on the end of her next jump, which was a triple flip. So quick thinking on her behalf here, didn't quite do enough in the free skate to hold on to first place and dropped to second. Still puts her in a fantastic place to make Grand Prix final. And this was actually Alyssa's first medal on the Grand Prix. She did not medal at any event last season. She was in medal position after the short program, but she would fall after the free skate last year because she was just getting back onto the ice, had a lot of rotation issues that would be problematic in terms of losing her base value. And ultimately, that would cause her to drop last season. And it was something that by the time Worlds rolled around, she had figured out the rotation, and that was a big reason that she catapulted all the way to the top. So it's good to see that rotations are still very strong for her. Seems that she at least got the boot issues figured out that she was struggling with at Lombardia. So let's have a quick conversation about the team event for the U.S. women, because this is going to be an interesting decision for U.S. figure skating to make. Last Olympic cycle, we had two really fabulous dance teams who had split national titles and had both felt very, very much looked over and frustrated from the previous Olympic cycle in 2018. And so they made the decision that they wanted to split the event. What that meant was that they had to pick one lady to do both events. And traditionally in the past, they had always had one pair and one dance team so that they could have two ladies and two men. Going into this Olympic cycle, there's a lot of different thoughts as to what Chalk and Bates are going to do. Are they going to want to split the event again like they did last time? And I honestly don't think that U.S. figure skating should really even allow them to do that. That sounds ridiculous. Typically, you're going to give your world champions the decision in terms of what they want to do. Elia is likely going to want to do the short program and not the free skate. And Chalk and Bates probably would be best served to do both segments of the competition. And if they chose to split it, I think that would be a real disservice, even for a team like Carrera and Pondarenko to do another segment, because then that means we would only get one lady. So assuming that they stick with what they have done in every other team event outside of last time, two ladies would get the opportunity to compete in the team event. The question becomes, who do you pick? Because you've got Alyssa, who's the world champion. You've got Amber, who's the reigning national champion. You've got Isabeau, who's a world medalist also. And that's going to be a very difficult decision which one of those ladies gets left out, assuming those are the three ladies that make the team. I tweeted out something on Saturday with the season's best scores from those three ladies. Here, Amber got a 214 and some change, and Alyssa got 212, and Isabeau last week in France got 212. Those are extremely high scores for somebody like Sarah Everhart or Brady Tennell to meet in order to try to make the team. And it's not impossible for Brady. Those are numbers that she has hit before, but it's definitely been a while. It'd be a little bit more of a stretch for Sarah, just in terms of trying to get the same level of PCS that Amber's going to get, Alyssa's going to get, or Isabeau's going to get. But for me, I think it's going to be really difficult for anybody else to get on that Olympic team. But I just feel bad already for whatever lady gets left off of that team event. All right, moving on to Team Japan and Rinka Watanabe, who got on the podium here for Team Japan. Of course, they swept last week. Looking at the three ladies who are going to be competing for Japan this week, definitely did not expect that to happen, and it didn't, but Rinka did just barely hold on to a bronze medal. Her short program, she's using Tango Roxanne, and because we must have at least one every year, and of course we had a couple at this competition, she started out with her triple axel, just a tiny bit of negative GOE, but still far superior to what she would get if she were doing just a double axel. She was really going for max difficulty here. She did a triple Lutz triple toe combo, which is not a consistent combo for her. She has played with a few different combos in the short program. I believe last season she was doing a triple loop triple toe combo, but she also would go into competitions kind of with a plan A and a plan B and maybe even a plan C for that combo. So she's trying to make the Olympic team. She's chasing Amy Nakai, and 74 points in the short program was huge for her. She was fired up. The free skate did not go as well. She is attempting 2 triple axels, including one in combination with a triple toe. So she goes out, she does a triple axel, and then fell on the triple toe. The second triple axel, she didn't get all the way around. Very similar issue that we saw from her a couple weeks ago at the Tri-Lady Trophy. I feel like if she lands the triple axel in the short program, she really doesn't need to risk 2 triple axels in the free skate. I think she can get by with just one. Just a huge risk, and it's something that we haven't seen her do very well, especially in a really long time. But I get it. She's trying to go for absolute maximum difficulty because it's going to be difficult to make the team. A medal here will help her, and she was just absolutely overcome with emotion just to stay on the podium. And she barely did. It was less than a point above Anastasia Gubanova, who was the 4th place finisher here. And the short program, she was not happy with her score. She's really been on a tear lately. She skated very well at the Skate to Milano Olympic qualifier. She skated very well at home at the Tri-Lady Trophy. But here she got a Q on her triplets and level 3s on 2 of her spins, as well as her step sequence. So that was a difference in her getting close to 70 points like she's been getting lately. And here in her free skate, it's been a strong vehicle for her, this Ghost program, and almost got her on the podium here. Almost. It's very difficult to compete with people who are going to land triple axel. And 2 of the podium finishers here had triple axels, and then Alyssa Liu with that triple loop. They just had such a lead after the short program. It was going to be very difficult for Anastasia in the absence of them making really big mistakes, which Rinka made some mistakes, but just barely. She lost a podium spot. In 5th place was Jia Shin, or Josh Shin, of South Korea. She had these weird kind of placements that you see sometimes where she was 4th in both segments of the competition, but finished 5th overall. She was only 3 points off the podium. This was way better than what she did last week in France. She actually originally had 1 Grand Prix assignment when they were originally announced, but she was very high on the sub list and got her 2nd one. In her short program, it was just really gorgeous. She does not look like a first-year senior whatsoever. She got very close to the boards on her triple flip and stepped out. It really didn't hurt her too bad. She still got 68 points, which just goes to show that she easily gets over 70 points if she can skate clean. Her free skate, just a really nicely composed program, good skating skills. She got level 4s on everything, just a couple of technical mistakes on her jumps here and there, and that led to her being in 5th instead of being on the podium where she could have been with 1 or 2 less mistakes. In 6th place was Rina Matsuke of Japan. Her short program, I thought, was just absolutely gorgeous, but she had so many level issues. She got level 3 on her step sequence in 2 of her spins, like Gubanova did. She ended up with an unclear edge call on her Lutz. So all of those things added up to only 65 points. I was very disappointed to see her PCS score. She was 8th. I'm like, what are we judging here? I do not understand. I still feel like a lot of the judges, when they make some technical mistakes, and again, here, she didn't fall. Okay, she didn't step out of a jump. She had an unclear edge and some level issues that should not knock her PCS down quite so low. I mean, really, she should be getting top 3 PCS here easy, in my opinion. 7th place was Ruiyang Zhang of China. This is a skater that qualified the Olympic spot at the qualifying event. Totally approve of her short program. Music choice, she's skating to Frozen from Madonna. Great jumpsuit. Comes in with lower tech content than what we see a lot of the top ladies. Just a triple Salchow, triple toe, but it was landed well. Her free skate is to Miss Saigon. Really fantastic for her, getting 117 points. I think that she really has made her case for being the representative for China at the Olympics. They've still got to duke it out at Chinese nationals, but to me, she is firmly in the driver's seat. And she gets a win here over her teammate Yi Zhu and Jingji Han, who unfortunately I think had a back injury and had to withdraw before the competition started. In eighth place was Anna Pizzetta of Italy. She has competed against Laurinaki Gutmann a lot this season and has lost each time, so this was a really good opportunity for her not to be in the shadow of her Italian teammate, and certainly would have liked to have finished better than what she did here. I really, looking at the roster, expected her, the way that she's been skating this season, to have finished in the top 6. Did not quite happen. Big combo that she has in that short program. But she fell on her triple flip in the second half, but I thought she had really high quality elements throughout the program. Free skate, she's skating the Black Swan. Last year she did Firebird, so I feel like they were trying to hit some of those same notes. Honestly, I don't think either one of these programs are a great stylistic match for her. I don't think she's a ballerina. Can she bring the drama? Yes. Can we find lots of other pieces of music to bring the drama outside of some of these more ballet pieces? Also, yes. In ninth place was Haiyan Lee. And the announcer was like, yeah, 20 years old. I'm thinking, she's only 20? I feel like she has just been through an entire lifetime this Olympic cycle, and she should be like 25. Just a lot of consistency and rotation issues have really plagued her since she got that silver medal finish at the 2023 Worlds. She just cannot make up her mind this year what programs she wants to do. That is not going to help her. She needs to pick something and go with that and get comfortable with that. She was doing Carmen as a short program this season, and then she decided here to go back to her Siren short program from a couple of seasons ago. I did really like this program. It was on my season's best list. I really love the ending with the footwork. She does that same like ending pose to the judge's face that was really popular that season. That's not so popular this season. She had a really gorgeous triple Lutz, triple toe to start, but she ended up with cue calls on both of those jumps. It means that she landed on the quarter, and that affected her score. And then in the free skate, again, another repeat. She's gone doing the Notre Dame program that she did in that same season. And just really faded at the end. Just did a double Lutz, just did a double Salchow, had a bad fall on a triple flip. Just, I don't know if the conditioning's not there, if mentally she's just not in the right headspace. But I just continue to be disappointed. I feel like every single outing that I see from her. In 10th place was Hana Yoshida. And boy, for someone who won a Grand Prix last year, was in Grand Prix final the last 2 seasons, this is definitely not where she wanted to be, finishing 10th in a Grand Prix. This just combined with a really poor showing for her at both Nebelhorn and the Kinoshito Cup. She really seems like she's a long shot to make the Olympic team at this point. Her short program the costume was very interesting. It looked like a wetsuit to me. I had no idea what she was even skating to until at least halfway through the program when I noticed the Kill Bill music. She keeps trying lots of different programs, lots of different music selections, and I'm not sure that any of them have really fit her well. Like, I remember that, it was a Cuckoo Fun that she did a couple of seasons ago. It was fun, but again, it just didn't feel like it really fit her. Last season, I loved the SOS music and the choreography, but again, it just doesn't feel like it really fits her style. I don't think her and her team have really figured out like what that is. And so everything just feels like it's just okay, at least for me. She ended up with 2 Qs and an undercall. She had level 4s on everything. She felt really good about it, despite the fact that she was in 11th place, which was last in the short program. And then in the long program, again, another repeat. So many skaters this season have gone back to old programs. It just seems more than normal. Every single competition, there are several skaters that have gone back in singles mostly. There's a few in ice dance and pairs, but a lot in singles that have gone back to previous programs. The free skate from 2 years ago is a little bit different costume. It's the same color scheme, right down to the glove hands. She started out with a triple axel but failed. It's really not been consistent for her in a couple of seasons. She gets back into the groove for the most part, just one pumped jump after that. But honestly, a 10th place finish here for her is just not going to help her in her quest to get on that Olympic team. And 2 years ago, she was at Worlds, and right now it's just looking real tough. And in last place here was Yizhu of China. She had a really good short program. She was skating the Stand By Me from Florence and the Machines. So it's the same music that Ellie and Danny used in their free skate last season. Great dress. She got 63 points. She was just thrilled. This was actually a really strong short program in the women's event. Every single woman was over 60 points in their short program, which was fantastic. In her free skate, she was skating to Ghost, the musical, which we also heard from Gubanova. It was a real struggle at the beginning. The first 3 jumping passes were rough. She did settle down after that, but this season is all about going to the Olympics and for her getting back to the Olympics, and she is just losing ground really fast to Ru Yang. All right, going to pivot to the men. Lots of loss levels in this event. It's one of those situations where, was it a tough tech caller? And if so, fair, because it was like this really for everybody? Or were the men in this particular field just not as proficient in some of the spins and the step sequences like we see in other competitions? The winner here was Shun Sato of Japan, and he was so thrilled to win. His coach was so excited for him. He won the same event last season, also over Mikhail Shadorov. Short program, another repeat program, skating to his Ladies in Lavender program from last season. Left some points on the table like a lot of the men did. Camel spin and a step sequence, only getting a level 2. Much stronger in the free skate. He's using Firebird this season. I feel like every season, Shun has gotten just a little bit better and a little bit better. And if you think about him towards the end of last Olympic cycle, all the jumps were there, but artistically, he just wasn't there. He would lose a lot of energy towards the end of his programs, and he just didn't perform, especially things like his step sequence and his choreographic sequence, very strong. And it's really, he's come such a really long way, and I really enjoy this Firebird program from him. In second place was Daniel Grassel of Italy. His short program is a tango, which I felt like we were going to see quite a few tangos this season after we got quite a few last season. He has an interesting costume. It's a navy top with black pants, which doesn't really seem to match to me. I kept looking at the screen. I'm like, are those navy pants that just look black? And navy is an interesting choice for a tango. I know it's very common to do black. It never bothers me if somebody chooses to do something other than black, but it's in navy just feels like a weird choice. He did quad lutz, did turn out of it before doing his triple toe, but got that difficult jump. Quadruple loop was really nice, and he was really enjoying himself, and the crowd was loving him. It was interesting. He was using accents of the music for jumps, had a lot of arm movements in his spins. His spins were good. He actually put his foot over his head in a sit spin. So I thought he was really pretty impressive. His free skate, I don't like as much, but again, he came out, pretty strong and confident and held off Mikhail Shadorov to hold on to the silver medal here. Remember, he made Grand Prix final last season, so he's put himself in a good position to potentially make it back, which is going to help his case to try to make the Olympic team for Italy. Third place was probably a bit of a surprise. I think most everybody was picking Mikhail Shadorov to win here, coming off of his silver medal at Worlds. But just a lot of, again, level issues in both programs that really kept him from being on the top step of the podium. His short program, he's skating to In the Air Tonight and a song called No Good. I like the music choice. I think it's fun. In the Air Tonight is really good music. I'm surprised more teams and more skaters actually don't use it. He definitely has the craziest tech content outside of Ilya. Adam, a close second, but definitely doesn't perform it near the consistency to what Mikhail does. His triple axel in his short program I thought looked so easy. I'm like, can he do a quad axel? Because it looks like there's room for another rotation in there. The costume, however, makes no sense. I mean, he looks like he's skating to Gladiator. I don't understand the costume in terms of skating to Phil Collins. But he ended up with an under on his quadlets, which affected his score. He got negative GOE on his camel spin, a level 2 in his step sequence. All of those things kept him from being at the top. And then in the free skate, did that really cool triple axel Euler quad Salchow that he does, but he did not get a single level 4 in the free skate. He got an unclear edge on both of his flips. He got 2 undercalls. So he just left a lot of points on the table. In comparison to what we have seen him do at his best, got 109 in technical elements at 4 continents and 110 at Worlds. Here, 96. So about 14 points below what we know he's capable of doing. In a third place finish, puts him on the bubble. If he goes out and wins his next Grand Prix, he's in to Grand Prix final. But if he goes and gets a silver or another bronze, then he could not be a Grand Prix final. And you know that he definitely wants to be there and get another head-to-head battle with Ilya. Next time we see Mikhail will be at Skate America. In fourth place here was Tomoki Hiwatashi of the US. So a couple of weeks ago, I think it was after Tri-Lady Trophy, I believe, one of my Spotify listeners called me out for dismissing Tomoki. And honestly, at this point, correctly calling me out. Going into the season, Tomoki was not on my radar whatsoever for an Olympic spot. In my mind, it was going to be Max, Andrew, Camden, and an outside chance, Jimmy Ma, and another outside chance, Jacob Sanchez. So for me, that's 5 people. Tomoki was just not in the conversation. He's just been incredibly inconsistent for the last several years and dismissed him. However, he has come out this season and he has performed better so far than what Torgashev has, what Max has, what Jimmy Ma has, what Jacob did here. We haven't seen Camden because he was actually supposed to be at this competition and had to withdraw due to injury. So all of a sudden, Tomoki has entered himself into the conversation. I think, and I know other people think the same, that I think U.S. figure skating is likely to take whoever finishes third at nationals to the Olympics, unless it's like somebody just really out of the box. Because I don't see anybody right now building a resume up enough, kind of like Andrew did last year, to really be able to get that third spot in absence of doing well at nationals. Time will tell, but right now, Tomoki is doing everything he can to be in that conversation, and he is 100% now into that conversation. His short program is To Freebird by Leonard Skinnard. For me, the first half feels pretty empty of choreography. His jumps were very good. The crowd really loved that cantilever that he does in there. Found himself in the top 6 going into the free skate. And then the free skate is such a different vibe from what we saw in the short program. He's skating to Creep, which is a great song, very popular on shows like American Idol and The Voice. I don't recall a lot of people using it for skating. He almost had the green wordle. It just one red box, and that was for a wonky landing on what was his easiest triple, which is a triple Salchow. He got a personal best here, huge for him. And like I said, he is definitely making a case, and we'll see if he can back it up at nationals or if he gets another assignment like Golden Spin before nationals. In 5th place was Boying Jin of China. And this felt like a good competition for him. He recently left the cricket club with Brian Orser and Tracy Wilson, basically what it sounds like at the request of the Chinese Federation for him to train at home. He had a great quad toe to open that short program and a nice triple axel with twizzles on the ends, a la Nathan Chen or Yuzuru Hanyu. And I feel like this short program might be the best showcase of his skating skills that we've seen from him. There's nicely composed. He's got a great commitment to the choreography. I expect that this is going to be his last season skating at the amateur level. And we'll see exactly what transpires. I'm really glad that it really started last season. He stopped trying to do the quadlets in the short program. He's been much more successful with the quad toe. The free skate, I was very worried because we have seen Bo Yang do well in the short program and then completely bomb in the free skate. And it wasn't clean, but he didn't fall apart, which I felt like was a step in the right direction. So it was good to see him in the top 5 here and doing well with really nice programs that really showcase his skills well. In 6th place was Vladimir Lovintsev of Azerbaijan. And his short program, I was like, okay, at least he's not skating to anything offensive this year. That's good. And Chris Howarth actually said it was better than anything he's seen from him in the 3 seasons. And I agree. He's had some real weird, questionable choices. His free skate, another repeat program. He was going back to his Joker program from, I think, the first year of the Olympic cycle. He starts staring at the judges. He takes this fake drag from a cigarette at the start of his program, which the crowd thought was hilarious. Chris Howard said he wants more transitions from him. I just feel like for somebody like Vladimir, who doesn't have the best artistic ability, going back to a program that you did several years ago feels like it stunts your growth. And I just felt like this would have been a really good opportunity. Again, sometimes people go back to old programs due to funding issues or injury issues over the summer and they don't have time to put new programs. So I don't know why he chose to go back to the Joker program. But if he did have the opportunity to compose something newer, I think that would have been much better for him. That being said, he did well here. We've seen him really bomb out at some Grand Prix, and so a 6th place finish for him is good. 7th place was Jacob Sanchez of the U.S. This is his first year in seniors. The short program, skating to Umbrellas of Shoreberg, really nice showcase of his artistry. He doesn't have a quad, so he really needs to be perfect with his content, and he fell on his triple toe and his combo, which caused him to go down in the standings from where he would have liked to be. He's one that jumps with the ripon arms, which I know it's a technique that they learn and they do for a number of years. But when they do that and they fall, always in the back of my mind, am I going, was it the arms? Would they do better if they pulled the arms into their chest? I can't turn that noise off in my brain. His free skate, he's skating to selections from Max Richter, really is trying his best to maximize his technical scoring ability in this program by doing a triple lutz, double axel late into the program. He had a couple of other little pesky things. He popped his triple Salchow. He also ended up with an unclear edge call on his triple flip. And so all of these kept him from just shooting way up into the standings. A 7th place finish is okay here. The real issue is that he had a head-to-head battle with Tomoki, and Tomoki won this round. In 8th place was Junwan Cha of South Korea. And honestly, not surprised by his finish here. I know a lot of people were expecting him to medal. For me, I did not pick him to medal because I just have seen too much inconsistency from him for me to really trust that he's going to go out there and skate well. And I felt like it was just the same song and dance in both of his programs. This short program, what did he do? He came out again trying to do the stupid 2 quad program that literally never works. The music selections that he's using this year are both heavily used pieces of music. So here in the short program, he's doing Rain in Your Black Eyes. He popped his quad toe, didn't get a combo off. And so for me, I can't enjoy this program. Both times I've seen it, the jumps just have not been there. Crowd loves him though. They were going nuts before his music even started. I think there's probably a lot of screaming girls that are part of that. In his free skate, Moulin Rouge, combination of The Show Must Go On, Tango Roxanne, and then Come What May. I think that this is probably my least favorite free skate of his in this entire Olympic quad. And I do like Moulin Rouge music. I know it's overused, but I do like it. I just think that Tango Roxanne doesn't work here. I think he would have done better off if he had just stuck with The Show Must Go On and then Go and Come What May. That third selection, I just don't feel like this program gels very well. Of course, it doesn't help that he had a lot of technical issues. And it sucks because he started out with a beautiful quad salchow triple toe to start, and then he tried to do a quad toe, then he fell, and then he had another quad salchow, I believe, that he was doing, and he popped it into a double. Him and his coaching team were obviously trying to go for a 3-quad program. Again, I don't think that that's ever been successful for him. He had a weird stumble after he landed his triple flip. Just, again, are we having ankle issues still? Are we having boot issues still? Like, what is going on? Because this has gone on for a really long time. We just haven't seen him at his best. 9th place here, speaking of somebody not at their best, Sota Yamamoto. Here's someone who has won a Grand Prix in the past, has made Grand Prix final in the past, that looked so far away from that form, it's not even funny. After the short program, I thought, oh, he's in the mix. He was skating to Michael Bolton's yesterday, and he just reminded me so much in that short program of Brian Boitano. Back in the 90s, Brian Boitano would be in every single pro show and pro competitions, and he would wear these big, huge, flowy shirts. And as Sota was skating in this program, I thought he needs one of those Brian Boitano, like, flowy shirts. He could easily rock it. He did pretty well here. He could have easily scored 90 points, but he got negative GOE on 2 of his spins, a level 2 in a step sequence, like so many other guys here. The free skate was a disaster. Skating to Hallelujah, which, again, we've heard so much. He's a great skater. And when you're a really good skater, like, I feel like you have the ability to pick any kind of music and make it work. Whereas somebody that's weaker, they might pick some of these pieces of music that carry a lot of emotion in there naturally as a way of sort of artificially demonstrating that. But Sota, he could skate to any number of things, but he's always picking like these heavily used pieces of music. And he got negative JOE on every single jumping pass here. There was a point when he was supposed to do a triple Lutz he never even picked in for. He messed up on his takeoff on his quad toe. He just looked completely out of sorts here. It was weird. Really, really weird. For that 3rd spot in Japan, nobody wants it. Like, apparently nobody wants it. Like, I feel like we're back to where the U.S. men were in the first 2 years. It's just like, can somebody step up and skate clean? Not yet. Maybe it's Skate Canada. 10th place was Denis Vasiliev of Latvia. He recently left his longtime coach, Stefan Labiel, who he's been working with for a number of years. There has been some kind of issue with funding with the Latvian government. Basically, Dennis has said he cannot comment on what sort of is going on. He came here with no coach and kind of showed, honestly. His short program, he's skating to Unchained Melody. He had a fall on his triple axel. He put a hand down on his triple toe in his combo. It was just kind of sad, honestly, to see him sitting in the Kiss and Cry with no coach, just by himself. He was all smiles. But it just seems so sad. And then in his free skate, he, again, is repeating a program. He's skating to the La Bayadere that he skated to last season. And again, just very uneven, as kind of showed by his finish here, finishing 10th. It's just unfortunate to see because when he's on, he's just such a beautiful skater. But it just seems like there's a lot of chaos and turmoil sort of going on, things that are probably out of his control that are affecting his skating right now. In 11th place was Dawai Dai of China. Interesting note about him, he was actually born in St. Petersburg, but he obviously competes and represents China. In the short program, he has like an open shirt with flesh-colored mesh, which is kind of weird to me. It's always kind of a bit weird to me, but okay. Combo just went totally wrong. Got off a double toe and then tacked a triple toe on top of it, so kudos on him for getting his combo off, but you're not going to get a lot of points on a double toe combination ever. He has really nice artistry. It's a nice music choice. He also popped his triple lutz into a double. Just bad news all the way around with his technical performance in that short program. His free skate, jump inconsistency again. Lutz just was not happening for him in this competition. He did a double lutz here as well. But again, just beautiful artistry. Absolutely gorgeous. I could watch him skate just for hours. And then in 12th place here was the other China host spot, and that was Ziming Ping. He's got really big jumps. I mean, he came out in that short program with a quad sow, quad toe, triple axel. Now, they weren't all successful, but he had cool music and a costume. I thought he had a lot of intensity, kind of channeling Kalmura in a way, and probably needs to rein a little bit of that in. His free skate music was a different choice in that he was skating to music from the Fast and the Furious franchise. And the See You Again piece that was kind of in the middle of it felt like it didn't fit. But then when I went and looked up what the other pieces of music were, and they were all music from Fast and Furious, I was like, okay, maybe he's trying to tell a story? I don't know. It was interesting. I thought he had some good moments. Like I said, needs more consistency. All right. That completes the men's event. I think if we were to summarize what we saw here, I think Daniel Grassel did himself a lot of favors. Tomoki did himself a lot of favors. And Soda did not too much for himself here on his quest to try to make the Olympic team. All right, let me give out some Pamchinko awards. For the ladies, some contenders here would be Rinko Watanabe getting back on the podium, Amber Glenn coming from behind, Alyssa Liu with a really strong short program. I think I'm going to give it to actually Ruyang Zhang of China, who had a just personal best in her free skate and is skating really well for China. I hope that the pressure doesn't get to her, but she's really impressed me so far this season. So I'm going to give her the Pamchinko for the women. For the men, I think the contenders would have to be Shun Sato, who skated really well here, Tomoki, obviously, for doing really well, Bo Yang, even, for not falling apart in a Grand Prix. And yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Bo Yang Jin for his short program. It was just so good to really see kind of just like the culmination of all of the things that he has learned over the years and put into that short program. And it's really nice to see skaters who are on the other side of their 20s still improving themselves year in and year out. All right, let's look ahead to the roster at Skate Canada. Starting with the ladies, for Team Canada, we have Sarah Moa Dupuis, Madeline Skises, and a skater I am not familiar with, Yuliana Shurayeva. We have a replacement here, which is Maria Sinuk of Israel is here. We've got Lorinaki Gutman of Italy, 3 Japanese ladies, and 3 U.S. ladies. So from Team Japan, we've got Yuna Aoki, Mona Chiba, Amy Nakai. And from the U.S., we've got Sarah Everhart, Isabel Levito, and Brady Tennell. So this will be a really cool head-to-head matchup between all 3 of those American ladies. The 2 who are most in the race to try to upset one of those spots from the 3 ladies, chasing the what some would say maybe the most vulnerable women for the U.S. trying to make the Olympic team. I felt like going into the season, the most vulnerable person was Amber because she was the only one who didn't have a medal at Worlds. But the way Amber is skating, maybe the most vulnerable person is Isabeau. And here's a great chance for Sarah or Brady to get a big win over them. This is a good chance for Sarah Moa Dupuis to try to get a win over Maddie Skises. And then obviously for the Japanese ladies, Mona Chiba, I feel like feels pretty close to a lock for Team Japan. Definitely any wins that she gets on the Grand Prix are only going to help to strengthen that resume. And then for Amy Nakai, if she came out and does anything near what she did in France, I think it's going to be really, really hard for Rinko Watanabe, Wakaba Higuchi to unseat her with that big triple axel that she's bringing to the table. All right. That completes my coverage from Cup of China. Had all 4 disciplines in this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. And thank you for some of your messages, checking on me. I'm good, I promise. A little busy, but was able to get everybody in this week. You can find me on all the socials, most active on X and Blue Sky and Instagram, also on Threads at Ice Skate Podcast. And you can also send me a line at thecuttingedgepod@gmail.com. I'll be back soon with Skate Canada. It'll be here before we know it, just back to back to back. Wait, did I look at the men? No, I didn't. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I forgot to look at the men's event for Skate Canada also. We've got 3 Canadian men. We've got Steven Gogolev, Alexa Rakic, and Roman Sadovsky. Steven had the competition of his life at a challenger earlier this season. He's definitely going to want to try to show that again in his home country. Roman Sadovsky come into the season feeling like it was his Olympic spot to lose. So he definitely needs a good showing here. And then Alexa Rakic at one point last season was the only Canadian man who looked like he could complete a program. And then in the second half of the season last year, it didn't look so hot. So what does he look like here? Alexander Selevko, he has been very disappointing in the last year and a half. I would love to see him get back on track. Kevin Amos is here. Nika Agazzi coming off of a bronze medal finish last week at Grand Prix France. Then Nikolai Mimola, Cal Mura, oh boy, Kazuki Tomono, also oh boy, Vladimir Samolev of Poland, and then Tomoki Hiwatashi, who's going back to back. He was a replacement for Camden this past week, and then this is the Grand Prix that he was slated for. And then Ilya Malinin of the US, looking to be the first person to punch their ticket to Grand Prix final. If I were to pick a podium, obviously Ilya, number 1. I think Kevin and Nika Agazzi look like the most likely to get on the podium, but I think Mimola would love to have a little bit of something to say about that as well. And what are Kazuki and Cal going to look like? Like Cal apparently has gone back to old programs again, like he was already doing an old program for a short program, and now I think he's gone back to his umbrellas of Shorebug. Free skate, he just can't make up his mind either. I don't think it's the program. I just think it's the jumps. And again, I don't know if it's injury or if it's his headspace, but if going to an older program makes him feel more comfortable, I'll have my fingers crossed and I'll be holding my breath. All right. What are your predictions for Skate Canada? Are you excited for this Grand Prix? I think this feels like one of the better lineups for singles and really in both disciplines. So what are your predictions for this coming weekend? And have a good rest of your week. I'll be back soon.